How about now, James? I set it and then I had to do something else and I must have unset it. I can't tell what the heck that is. I think it's a 1953. Thank you, Pack. Yeah, I wish there was some way to go into StreamYard and tell it not to default to the microscope, because the microscope is the only optical device hooked to StreamYard that does not have a does not have a microphone. So when it defaults to that, I have no sound, and I don't know until somebody tells me, "Hey, Suze, we can't hear you." So anyway, I'll start at the beginning. Last night we thought we were all done with these pennies as far as sorting them out, but then this morning I was on the elusive hunt again for my stapler, and I found yet another box of coins, and it was mostly nickels and quarters, but it does have some pennies in it. So I've got to get them sorted out, which won't take very long because there's not very many of them. And then I got all my penny books out, my albums. So once I get through these, maybe one roll of pennies, um, I'm gonna start trying to put some of these in the albums. Ooh, there's a 1930. I must have dug that one. It's pretty grubbed. Ooh, look at that. Wonder what kind of, if that's digging damage or run over by a truck damage, or did it come that way damage. It's an interesting looking chunk. But yeah, this is definitely a metal detected coin. One of those ones people say, oh, you shouldn't clean your coins. But really? It's got, I'm going to guess I detected that in Georgia because it looks like it has some red Georgia clay on it. I don't know what that little round moon shaped damage on it is, but I'll be looking at it later. Hey, Walt Money, Scott. Yeah, whenever I am sorting these coins, I just go ahead and go online. And if anybody wants to come in and watch with me, that's fine. But my microscope works better with this software than the software it came with. And it does get me a couple of watch hours from time to time, or a few minutes anyway. So I'll take what I can get. Mikey, last night I was very briefly over in Can Collectibles auction. And of course, I had to get out of there because he started auctioning off Indian heads, and you know how I am about those. But anyway, while I was in there, he mentioned that he is also going to be heading down to Orlando for that same show that you and Rob and several other people are going to. So you might want to see if you can hook up with Can Collectibles while you're down there as well. Like I said, I just happened to discover that he was going to the fun show too. You know? And it's so ironic because I'm from Orlando and I can't go. Just because I got too many medical appointments. Come on, microscope. 1939. Yeah, I think this little bottle must have been detecting finds because they're all kind of grubby and there was only 3 in it. And sometimes I carry these little bottles in my detecting pouch and will put Wheaties off to the side in them, or like buffalo nickels or any kind of older coin or silver coin, because the bottles don't take as much room in my pouch as a fines box. So a lot of times I used to carry these little plastic vials in there. Well, um, probably by the time they have the next one, I will be living in Michigan, and I would probably not be able to afford to go down to Florida, but I never know because, yeah, I could have a windfall. I could find a really good coin or something to finance the adventure. Okay, there's another empty bottle. I have a lot of empty containers now. That's good because that'll give me something to sort the other coins into as I'm moving along. I don't know what these are. Oh, this is a mixed bag. There's 2 dimes in here. I don't have very many dimes. I have a hard time reading them. So, but I must have kept those for some reason. And then there's 4 pennies. So these are probably detecting finds. That looks like a detecting find to me. 1969D. It's pretty grubby and I don't really need it. So I think I'll just find the jar that goes in. Oh, there it is. Yeah, my mason jar is filling up with things I can take back to the bank. It's about 4 inches deep now, mostly pennies. I think there's some nickels down in the bottom of it. But hey, Shashi, one in Ohio that a lot of YouTubers go to. Yeah, that would be a lot closer because Ohio actually borders Michigan. So I'll have to keep that in mind once I get moved up there. And see if I can. There's another 69D. I got a lot of those. All right, got rid of those. Another empty container. Yeah, the way it's looking now, it's probably going to be April, end of April when I get to move. But before I do that, I got a lot of things I'm going to be selling on eBay and Marketplace and different stuff to try to raise some money to make 2 trips, actually 3 trips, before I move north. Trip number 1. Oh, yeah, I know Sir Benji. He's from the same area of Michigan that I lived in. So, yeah, Randy's got me covered. He's also told me where all the good places to shop for things to flip on eBay are. Not that I didn't know where most of them were anyway. But anyway, the 3 trips I want to try to make before I move back up north are Florida to see my brother and metal detect with all my buddies down there again. Um, Probably not, James. I've had my Virginia number since 2014, and my Florida number I have had for over 25 years. I may get a Michigan number. Um, the last time I lived up there, I had both my Michigan and Florida numbers. So, okay, look at the R in Liberty on this 1980D, and also the 8 and the 0 in the date, because my eyesight is crap, and I can't tell if it's my eyesight doubling things or if they're really double on the coin. So if y'all take a look at that and give me an opinion, and if it's something I need to study on more, I have a little container I've been putting those in, where I will go back and reevaluate the small number of those that actually need to be studied. So now I just got to figure out what did I do with that container. I got so tidy last night that I actually put things where I can't find them, and I hate when I do that. Oh, I just hate it. I have a whole box of empty tubes and flips and all kinds of stuff here. It's empty. But I don't know what I did. Oh, yeah, I do. I know what I did with them. It's much tidier over here in my little corner. So anyway, y'all look at that coin that I have up there and tell me. Oops, somebody's knocking on my door. Hang on. It's always something. Shouldn't be anybody knocking on my door today. Move, cat. Alright. Knocking on the wrong door. Well, actually, they were knocking on my neighbor's door, but they were knocking so loud it sounded like they were knocking on mine. All right. Anyway, back to this 1980D. I am looking at the oops, I just inked my penny. Great. Good job, Susan. Good job. Let's put some ink on it. Well, now I guess it doesn't matter because that ink is not going to come off of there. Oh, well, never mind. I should not have been using a Sharpie as a pointer. I'll just put that aside for now. We'll see if I can daub the ink off of it if it looks like it's anything important. 1998D. I don't see anything exciting there. Yeah, I had a phone like that too, James. I'd have it on for maybe 15, 20 minutes on YouTube or Facebook or anything that had any kind of streaming content, and it would overheat and shut down, and it wouldn't come back on for like a half an hour. It was so frustrating. That looks like something I pulled out of the doit. Oh, that one's got a hole punched in it. Looky there. I can make jewelry out of that one. All right, put that over there then. If Michael Kittle tells me that they are forcing people to get the booster and wear a doubled mask at the Long Beach coin show, then I won't be going. Why? Are you afraid to be safe, Mikey? Honey, if I was going into right now, the 3 states that if I was going into them, I'd have myself wrapped up in bubble wrap to protect myself. And it's Florida, California, and Michigan. It's one of the reasons I won't go right now to Michigan or Florida. Because, and Virginia is right up there on the list, but I can't escape this place. But I don't have a problem protecting myself and other people. I do not consider that to be a violation of my rights. I consider that to be common sense. I don't want to die. I don't want to cause somebody to die. It's not, to me, that big of a deal. And I don't like doing it either, Mikey. And I have COPD and chronic bronchitis, which is all the more reason I do need to protect myself, because if I catch this crap, I am definitely going to be DEAD. And I don't want anybody, I've already lost 3 family members and countless friends to this disease. And many of them had the attitude, I'm not sick, so I don't need to do this. And then all of a sudden, within 3 or 4 days, they were dead because they were what is called asymptomatic, which means they didn't have any symptoms of the disease, but they actually had it, and it killed them. And I don't want that for anybody. Like I said, I've lost so many people in the last year and a half to this disease that here's what I do. If I have to go somewhere and I have to wear the mask and I'm having a problem breathing with it on, I will distance myself and pull the mask down where I'm not around anybody and get a bunch of fresh air. I also carry a can of a product called Boost. Boost is canned oxygen. It's like having a little tiny oxygen tank that you can carry around in your pocket or your bag or whatever. And if I have a hard time somewhere and I'm having to wear a mask, I'll pull the mask down, get me a hit of Boost, and I'm good. But I just don't want to see anybody die. I've seen too many people already. It's heartbreaking. And it's also overloading the medical system to the point that people with other serious diseases cannot get treated. Like the reason I almost died from the pulmonary embolism was they left me lying in an emergency room for over 24 hours because they could not find a room for me, because all the rooms in Virginia were full of COVID people, and most of them were unvaccinated COVID people. You know, they don't want to get vaccinated, and they don't want to wear the mask, but then when they get sick with it, they want to go in the hospital and be treated for it. They're like, oops, I got it. And then the people that did what they were supposed to do can't get treated at all. And I don't think that's fair. I almost died because of it. So I do not have a problem with um, mandated wearing of masks in certain conditions. Um, I got the booster. As sick as I am, Mikey, I went and got the booster. I had no problem with the booster. I had no problem with any of the shots, actually, which was, considering all the autoimmune disorders that I have, I'm surprised I did not have any problems. But no, I actually felt better. Ooh, 1950S. There's a new one. I don't think I have one of these in the pile. I don't know what this tube I found is, but we're going to have some fun with it. Nope, I do not have one in here. There may be one in one of my albums. But yeah, no, I had no problem with the booster, although I did get a different booster than my original shot. And I only did that because I got the one that they said was the safest. and I've had no problems. In fact, you guys have been seeing me online where I was not able to be online before, and so my health is rapidly improving. I'm not going to say it's because of the COVID booster, but just um, see, that's not true. Package total. The statement that you just made, where it says you could also argue you can do everything from home too these days. It depends on where you live, because I guarantee you, where I live, you cannot do everything from home. We do not have a taxi service. We do not have Uber Eats. We don't have Uber at all. We do not have Lyft. We do not have any of, oh, there's one of the Russian doodahs trying to sell their kitty shitty in here again. But yeah, we don't have, our bus service ends at 3 o'clock. There is no store in our little town or anywhere close to our little town that delivers groceries, or the pharmacies do not know. We do not have grocery pickup. We do not have delivery. I live way out in the mountains in a little town of about 6,000 people. I have to go 100 miles or more to see the specialist for my doctor. We have a hospital that only has about 30 rooms in it. No, somebody sent me an Uber card for Christmas. I can't use that Uber card. We don't have Uber. Um, our Walmart was doing the grocery pickup, but their appointments are now booked like 3 months in advance. Yeah, this area is like 20 years behind the real world. My sister talked me into moving here. She assured me that I would be able to get to all the medical things that I needed and blah, blah, blah. And it's simply not true. And like, my struggle right now is transportation because I injured my eye, so I cannot drive. Um, and because I had to learn how to walk over again, I have a real hard time accessing our bus, which stops running at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, by the way. So they roll up the sidewalks here at like 20 after 3. But no, we do not have access to the services that we need here in Virginia. Now, I lived in a town smaller than this in Michigan, and I could get anywhere I needed to go. I could get to the grocery, I could get things delivered to my house, um, but not here. And there are a lot of parts of this country that are like that. I have relatives that live in rural Iowa. They have the town that several of my cousins live in, they have no grocery store. They do have a little convenience store so they can grab like milk and eggs and that kind of stuff. But their closest grocery store is about 20 something miles away. They have no grocery pickup, no grocery delivery, no pharmacy. Um, a surgeon out of Roanoke is doing my surgery, and I just cannot remember his name off the top of my head. Uh, I go to see him for the uh, pre-surgery exam and all of that on the 10th. I had an appointment with him a couple of weeks ago, and they got so far behind that uh, I had to leave because our bus quit running, and I wouldn't have had anywhere to get home. So, yeah, it is a real mess. Okay, what is this guy's name? It should be listed on here. I hear he's supposed to be really good, so I'm just trying to find his name. He's through Vistar Eye Center in Roanoke, but he travels all over the state because a lot of these small towns do not have they can't support a specialist. There's just not enough uh, business for them. So what ends up happening is they just go from one town to another and do the exams, and then you have to actually go into Roanoke to get it done. I know his last name starts with an A, but I can't remember what it is. Uh, I don't know, Mikey. You would have to first. You would have to find out if your parents are listed as legal residents of Texas. If they are, you might well be able to do that. Uh, what is this thing? Yeah, I saw that video, Big Country. That was really cool. I was just so tickled because my dad used to do that same kind of stuff. Mommy squirrels and mommy chipmunks and mommy raccoons that left their little babies behind. My dad was real good with animals, but he wasn't very good with kids. uh, yeah, he just wasn't. But that reminded me of my dad because he had this little squirrel that he took care of that fell out of a big oak tree in front of our house, and the mom wouldn't do anything with it. So I got a real kick out of watching that video. Yeah, I see why your time has been uh, taken up taking care of that little critter. That was so cute. Uh, yeah, usually, Mikey, because I remember when I moved to Texas, and back then I didn't have any insurance. Oh, there's a 73S. And I think it took about 30 days to get approved for health care through the state. And but like I said, it will depend on when and if your parents have like changed their address to Texas permanently and gotten Texas license plates and Texas driver's license, that kind of thing. Once you've established uh, residency, I don't see where it would be a problem. As for the age change thing, I would check that too because that might have just been something they did in Maryland. That might have been a state level thing rather than a federal level thing. So I would also check with the state of Texas on that. Oh, this must be a tube full of S's. How fun. This is the third S I've pulled out in a row, so I'm thinking this is a tube full of S's, which means when I get to the end of these, after I check and see what needs to go in my albums, plural, the leftovers I can put in prize packages on my channel, and you guys will know that they're floating around in there. Ooh, 42S. That's a nice one. This is fun. I like finding stuff like this. Yeah, just all kinds of, like I said last night, we thought we were done with the pennies, and then I found another box this morning that had 3 or 4 of these little plastic tubes. There's a 44S. So let's get that filed away. 44. I don't have any of those in my little plastical bags. I'm finding treasure. I like treasure. Yeah, today's day 11 of the 12 days is going to be at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time. So my Texas friends, that's 3:20 to you. But and then tomorrow's show is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern in the evening, and that is going to be the 12th night. And then the next day is the biggie, the Epiphany drawing. Oops, I better put something across that so it doesn't come out. And then I got to figure out how I'm going to mail all. Oh my goodness. I got so much stuff. Probably be using the change that I'm throwing in this jar to take back to the bank. So probably that's all going to go to mailing out the prizes. Yeah, flight cancellations are a bad thing right now. I have a couple friends that have been stranded down in Florida since before Christmas, and they still have not been able to get a flight. And fortunately, um, I was able to hook them up with some other friends of mine who are letting them stay in a timeshare condo that they have down there that nobody has booked for quite a while. So at least they weren't having to sleep in the airport, and they were having a real hard time getting the airlines to put them up in a hotel because there's so many people stranded down there that they're having problems putting people up, and people are just sleeping all over in the airports, and that's not good for a number of reasons, not the least of which is flaring tempers and COVID. So at least my friends have a place to stay while they're stuck down there. And so, but yeah, they've been stuck there. They were supposed to fly back home on the 27th. So they've been there ever since trying to get out. And they spent, I think, 3 nights in the airport. And then I was able to hook them up with somebody that could get them a place to stay. And